Do you like Tangled the series? How about Varian and the Seven Kingdoms? Hey, I'm Fable Studios, and I'm writing and producing an animatic-style telling of the story concept Varian and the Seven Kingdoms. While my relationship with the story has changed over the years, I agree that Disney absolutely robbed us of this story, so I'm going to attempt to fix that. If you're here and you don't know what Varian and the Seven Kingdoms is, how did you end up here?
Just kidding, please don't leave.
For those who aren't familiar with the concept, Varian and the Seven Kingdoms is a spin-off concept of Disney's Tangled the series that follows one of the main characters, Varian, on a journey to find eternal knowledge. Along the way, he completes various alchemy-related trials and makes friends from various kingdoms, but not everyone's as willing to let him reach the prize. It's a very interesting concept, even if you're not too familiar with the Tangled franchise, and I'm trying my best to make it easy to understand and follow along with, even if you know nothing going into it. So don't hesitate to stick around, or just go watch the series. It's pretty good, all things considered. Now that that's out of the way, I need to find some way to make this video longer, so let's get into the finer details of this project. I've been working on the story since about June of last year. I've outlined the whole story, translated a lot of the characters into my style, wrote some of the scripts, and all those sorts of things up until this point. At the moment that I'm writing this, I have about 18 chapters scripted. I'm working on the art for the first of them, and you're watching me draw the final version of the project cover. I'm still figuring out how I want to do backgrounds and stuff for the series, and voice acting is very much a work in progress. Speaking of voice acting, due to the fact that I failed to lead anything properly, I'll be voice acting most of the main characters, save for Nuru, who is voiced by one of my close friends, who I trust to stick to deadlines much more than I trust myself. I'm trying to get another one of my friends to voice Young, but I'm not totally sure it's going to happen. Things happen, and I understand that, but for security, I'm going to be voicing a lot of the cast. But that doesn't mean there isn't an opportunity for other people to contribute. Within the month, probably, I'll be putting up a voice acting call for minor 1 or 2 act long roles. I also post more detailed voice acting calls on my Tumblr, and I believe the ones for acts 1 and 2 are already up. Speaking of acts, what does an act of my Varian and the Seven Kingdoms project look like? I've split the story of Varian and the Seven Kingdoms into 10 parts. The first act is mainly exposition. It takes part in Corona and explains how Varian found out about the 7 trials. The next 7 are the trials themselves. Then there's the act that takes place in the Eternal Library, and the act that's a sort of epilogue. Each act is about 5 to 10 chapters at the moment, each chapter being 5 minutes long at most. At the moment, my plan is to post 1 chapter every month. That doesn't sound like a lot, but there's a lot of work that goes into each one on top of actual life. As I'm making my buffer, I'll decide if this is final, though I think it's a pretty good estimate. Oh, I'll also be doing my best to include some of the fan songs written by Daniel Kekawayer as animatics. In fact, the first chapter I'll be posting is an animatic of her take on a theme song for Varian and the Seven Kingdoms. I absolutely adore her music and her telling of the story, and if this is the first time you're hearing of her, what are you doing in this fandom? Anyways, I've talked for long enough. I'm not sure how much I'll be done with by the time I post this, but as I'm typing this, I'm done with the scripts up until the air trial, and I've thumbnailed the first 2 chapters of the journal act. I hope to get the whole thing started within the next few months, and I'll post updates when I can. Hope to see you at the release of Varian and the Seven Kingdoms, the journal, chapter 1.
This is Editing Fable here, and I'd like to mention that my take on this story is by no means a canon version of Varian and the Seven Kingdoms. This is merely my interpretation, and I am only being more formal about this because it's a large-scale project, and I'd like people to know about it. By no means is my interpretation of this story canon, and if you find some of my creative decisions upsetting, you do not have to take this interpretation at all. This is on the same level as any other fanfic out there, and I cannot stress that enough. Thanks for watching.